All right, everybody, welcome to our Morning Vol Report. It is I, Andrew Giovinazzi, Chief Operating Officer of OptionPit.com. Welcome you to our, Morning Vol Report. Anyway, what do we have? Our butterfly course is going to be March the 11th. Butterflies near the money, butterflies out of the money, what makes flies work, what products do flies work on, things like that. Okay. Great course, and hopefully right now I would have to say, unless the vol keeps going up a little bit, we get a little bit more interesting activity. We want to find some vol to sell. So we'll see what happens here today. Speaking of vol to sell, so we got a couple of let's call them just trends going on here. One, VIX and the VIX futures are picking up some steam. The market opened down about 0.5% today, and you're getting a little bit of jump in these futures. So anyway, I think VIX-wise, market is moving a little bit, not a ton. Everything is kind of, let's just call it fairish. However, since last week when the VIX cash and the futures marked down very hard, you're seeing a pretty solid lift in the March future. You're now starting to see what I would call a real lift in the April future, probably up and above what we would consider fair. So, we've got some political speeches coming out next week. There's elections in Europe. The potential political turmoil. What does that give us? Well, at this point in the cycle, our March future it's a little expensive, not terrible. Okay, but it's definitely getting bids. So I'm just going to say there's just buyers of futures. Okay. April, I would say now, buyers of futures. So thinking being, if the volatility continues to rise, remember, VIX is not pricing what's happening in the weeklies. VIX is pricing what's happening a month from now. And a month from now, VIX will be pricing volatility in the SPX in May, which could well cover the election vol. So what I think is happening is people are starting to load up on futures slowly but surely into that election cycle. VIX cash might not move a ton, but it could keep ramping up. So what you want to see is, right, if you're watching volatility, a couple things is the steady, let me get the tick chart up, it's the steady increase in vol that you're looking for. Okay? It's the steady increase in vol back. So let's see here. Let me pull this up for you. I will get it eventually. All right. So what I'm looking for is, oh my gosh, I'm fighting with my charts, right? We got that, remember we had the sharp markdown. Since it's just, it's been rising, selling off, but it's not, the VIX is really not going away, and it's not going away relative to, okay, it is not going away relative to the relatively underwhelming moves in SPX. Let's look at a 3-month, right? You've got nothing here. The 10-day vol is doing zip, right? So there's a huge divergence in what's going on from a fly point of view. I'm sorry, from a vol point of view. So when I look at that, right, if the index is making all-time highs, VIX should be kind of grinding a little lower. It's not. So there are buyers of vol. There's buyers of vol in the cycle. And at least for now, they're not done. So what I would say is, you're sitting, you're watching and waiting, but if they keep catching this bid could grow for vol. Stocks might not do very much, but index volatility could keep going up and future prices could keep going up pretty easily. All right, so you can see vol expansion and then nothing. So as far as that goes, that's just something we're going to keep an eye on. And then again, I don't know how high or how far that goes. Before Brexit, things took off at the very end. Before our elections, things took off right at the very end. It's the same, we just go a year back, right? Let's look at VIX. You can take a look at that. Now, this is all stuff we'll look at in our chat room for positioning this. I wrote about it in the blog last night. Again, things got real low until they didn't, right? Things got real low until they didn't. And then, so what I'm looking at now is you want to see if we can start keeping this bid. The futures are definitely getting a bid from being oversold lately, right? And we'll see if that continues. But what's been strange is we just have not really, right? The cash has really not broken out, but the futures have started rising again. So we need to see that. And you need to see VIX making consistent rising closes. Right, and once we start seeing that, then I'll get a little more bullish on volatility. Right now, it's just right there. We'll just call it on the cusp. So again, I think those are the type of trades that could work. Trades where you buy vol into the election and sell vol after the election, I think are good trades. Well, we have stuff like that set up already in our strategy letter, but we'll look at more today. I think it's time to kind of pile in on it a little bit. Now we're getting some movement to make things interesting. All right, everybody, have a good